Hi guys, welcome back to the Students International Talk Show. My name is Rashid, and please help me welcome today our very special guest, Dr. Mark Staton, all the way from Western Washington University. He's the director of the MBA program, and today we're going to be talking about the future of digital marketing. Mark, if you want to kind of give them a little bit of an introduction of who you are and a little bit about your role at WWU.
Sure. Again, I'm Dr. Mark Staton. I'm assistant professor of marketing strategy and digital marketing, as well as director of the MBA program at Western.
Well, today, again, we're going to be talking about digital marketing, and considering that the world is entirely connected now, considering that all forms of kind of services and products are now available online. You can find any information online. We personally feel that there's an immense amount of opportunities in marketing, and my personal feeling is that there's going to be a huge range of freelance positions available. And today we're going to be kind of going into topics specific to what is marketing going to be like in the future, and how should students really prepare for that future.
That sounds great, yeah.
Okay, in the last 10 years, how do you think marketing has evolved? And if you could pinpoint any specific developments within those 10 years, what would it be?
And so all marketing, all promotional marketing was done in sort of an outbound way, where a company buys a billboard, buys a television spot, buys a newspaper ad, buys a radio ad, and just broadcasts it out, and knowing that a large percentage of the people that view the ad will have no interest in the ad itself or the product itself. What we have now in marketing, and what's happened over the last 10 years, is we have what's called inbound marketing. And so that is the marketing that is done when we, as customers, try to answer questions on what we want. What are our needs? What are what things do we need to fix? And so then we now take it upon ourselves to inform ourselves before we make a purchase in a much more sort of specific, educated way. And so what's happened a lot over the last 10 years is marketers have realized the value of investing in digital tools that sort of start with the search engine. Someone's not necessarily going to search for Western Washington University when they go to Google. If they know it's called Western Washington University, they're probably just going to go to the website.
Right.
What they may do is they may search for awesome MBA programs in America, and then what comes up, it will be Western Washington University. And so it's our responsibility as digital marketers to sort of understand what the customers are looking for in terms of the content that that we then create.
Okay. And aside from understanding how to deliver that content, or deliver content that is memorable and that can be effectively utilized in the various media platforms, what should a student today study to pursue an active career in marketing and actually obtain a job that pays effective wages?
So the most important skill a digital marketer can have is Google Analytics. And then there's all these other skills that are out there. I mean, obviously Photoshop and video editing is really, really important, video editing in particular. I think that I also have my students get Google AdWords certified, and so that they understand PPC and search engine marketing. I get my students become HubSpot certified, which is an inbound marketing platform that is really good for small businesses. Between those certifications, they get those skills, and it's really important to have those skills as you're looking for work, not just because they're really valuable skills, but also because it's a way to differentiate yourself among all the different resumes that people see. I talk in my marketing strategy class with the MBAs about sort of the points of difference and like having that sort of that market positioning. And the important thing that I find really fun about teaching marketing is everything that my students learn about marketing for a firm or marketing for a brand, they can also use for marketing themselves. And so the third part of that, the grading, talked about the participation, talked about the certifications. The third part is I have my students blog publicly on LinkedIn using the LinkedIn content management system twice a week for the whole quarter.
What are they blogging about?
They're blogging about the different topics that we have. So, we'll talk about analytics, we'll talk about A/B testing, we'll talk about SEO, all these different things. And so then they blog, and that's good. But then the craziest thing is I've had multiple students who are getting ready to graduate who were freaking out about getting a job, who come up to me after class or before class and go, Mark, some random person read my blog on SEO and asked me to interview, and I just got a job. So these students are actually doing inbound content marketing about themselves. That leads to them getting jobs. So I think the most important thing is not only to sort of learn these specific skills that are really important, we can talk about what those are, but then also apply them to your own, I don't want to say self-promotion, but apply them to your own jobs.
Ambitions?
Yeah, your own ambitions, your own career search.
Wow, that's really impressive. So students in your class are pretty much taking their skills, building up their resume while they're actually learning, and then getting jobs.
It's pretty funny because they also, another thing we have them do is we'll have them do several coding lessons on Code Academy.
Oh.
So, I think that a really important skill for digital marketers is to have the ability to go in and fix the HTML, fix the CSS. So what happens with my students is that they'll put on their CVs or they'll put on their LinkedIns that they completed the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript lessons on Code Academy, that they are Google Analytics, Google AdWords, HubSpot, Hootsuite certified, put them right there, and then just that is those sort of points of difference that employers are really looking for.
No, that sounds terrific. Sounds like I want to go to that school. All right. Considering everything you just said, what do you think is the biggest disruption then and challenge for genuine marketers?
Michael Porter talks about the 3 generic marketing strategies. And so the first one is cost leadership. You're the cheapest one out there. The second one is differentiation. You're the best one out there, and people are willing to pay more for the best. And the third one is what's called focus. And so that's sort of a specific niche that it may be underserved for whatever reason. So I think that sort of genuine marketers, if they're trying to figure out how to figure out which way to go, be a volume business,
right,
then you're a cost leader. You want to be like, I can do the best video editing in the market. Then you're the differentiator. Or you'd be like, I have a lot of students who do search engine marketing for specific industries. So they're like, I don't know anything about car dealerships, but I've become former student, did PPC specifically for that industry, or I have a lot of students that do Google AdWords for specific industries. And so I do think that one of the important things about being a marketer is also understanding that a lot of times that first of all, that there are these niches that will need specific resources done for them, and you may not have a lot of interest or knowledge in that specific field, but as a marketer you need to sort of become an expert on that and serve that group. So I think that that's what people should do, is they should really think of themselves as being sort of the cost leader, the sort of differentiator, or the nicher.
Okay, thank you. That's very relevant, actually. Okay, if you could describe content marketing to the audience,
sure,
what would you describe it? Because many of our students think of content marketing as what you said earlier, just writing essays.
Right. The important thing to understand is that most marketing is actually business to business, and so what content marketing is kind of different for each one of those. So when we talk about content marketing from a business to consumer perspective, we're essentially talking about the new branding. Most marketing is business to business. And so that is not so much branding as lead generation. And so lead generation is really the sort of the most important outcome of B2B digital marketing. So with that, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create content that is sort of informational as opposed to promotional, and that content will, you know, to get really sort of marketing nerdy, will sort of push the customer down the funnel. So they may have this sort of question that they go to Google and I'm looking for looking for widgets, and then someone would create a blog post or a video or an ebook or all these different sort of content pieces that if you would like to learn more, click here. And then hopefully you'll have some other piece of content that's really good or whatever. But the only way that someone can get that content or have access to that content is by leaving an email address. And then suddenly you have that lead generation list that is coming through your content marketing.
All right, and for our students that are really interested in marketing, a lot of them are worried that they don't have the personalities to be marketing, to be in the marketing field. What's your opinion on that? What type of characteristics do you think they really need to be successful in this marketing field?
Well, it's funny. I think that there's a lot of sort of stereotypes about things that, like, so I teach at a business school, and so you got the finance people and the accounting people, and they're like the math people, and then you got the marketing people and the creative people. And unfortunately, that I don't know about finance and accounting. I do know that if you do creative accounting, that's usually illegal. But I do know that from a marketing perspective, quantitative abilities are really, really, really important. And so that having the ability to analyze data and make sort of data-driven marketing decisions is really important. So the sort of the copywriting, the art direction, the sort of the video development stuff, absolutely there's a big part of creativity in that.
Right.
But I do think that good marketers can be, there's a range of skills that are required to be a good marketer, and that sort of data-driven and analytic view is just as valuable as the sort of the creative. So I think that, I find it hard to say that, like one of the phrases we use in digital marketing a lot is a full stack marketer. And so like someone who can do everything that a digital marketer is supposed to do. But I do think that for the most part, firms, that are bigger than a few people, they'll have different roles based on the different skills that people have. So I think that just because you're not a sort of creative person doesn't mean there's not a role for you in marketing.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. And you also mentioned earlier that the niche marketing is very there's a lot of room for opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of firms need help with their digital marketing.
Right.
And so I think that that's the thing I find that was so exciting about teaching my students, is that they get that sense of that they can be an expert really quickly.
Sure.
And it's pretty interesting as a professor with a fairly healthy ego to acknowledge the fact that these students that I taught 2 years ago now know way more about digital marketing than I do.
Wow.
So, and I find that really great.
Sure.
And so, and I think that that's the thing that's really neat about digital marketing, is that, if you're a small firm, you can look big. If you don't have, if you're pretty young, you can look like you have a lot of experience. I guess that's the biggest skill with being a marketer, is being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying everything.
Just only in it, like, if you're not failing, you're not innovating.
Right. Going on what you said, from kind of what I've been watching on Facebook and kind of research and whatnot, I was reading an article from The Economist, and they were saying that a lot of those big advertising firms are closing down because of the rise of these small digital marketing agencies.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that small, that's something I was invited to go to the Google Seattle headquarters and do a digital marketing talk, and there were some other academics that were talking. And one of the things they said, it was just cool that basically Google had invited a bunch of small business owners to learn about digital marketing through these academics. And,
Right.
and generally speaking, small firms do digital better than big firms. And so I think, I think that is something that, that sort of fits in with what you're saying.
Right. Okay. So there's a lot of opportunity for you. How do you advise them to stay conscious of their client's vision, and how do they stay genuine in making sure that they get the right type of business and
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that one of the things that is very important is if you're looking for an agency, you want someone who will really sort of create campaigns that are best for you.
Right.
And one of the things that I like to say is the answer to every marketing question is it depends. And so, should we should we do organic search or should we do paid search? It depends. Should we do Facebook or should we do Snapchat? It depends. And so, I think that if you're working with a digital marketing agency who basically is like, this is what you're going to do and this is what we're going to give you and this blah, 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 blah.
Right, yeah.
That's not asking it, that's not saying it depends. And so I think that, being a little slower with things, being a little more iterative, being a little more experimental is really important. And so, I don't want to be flip when I say it depends. What I mean is you want to answer that question. And so the way that you answer that question is you really, really focus on who your sort of target consumer is. Inbound, HubSpot likes to refer to the buyer persona. And so you want to do the digital marketing where your customers and leads are going to be. There's a lot of different factors that can go into the success of something, but you want to come up with some different options and go with that. And so I think that if you're talking about your students as what can they do to be good digital marketing agency people, think about that. Really sort of focus not on sort of what you do, but focus on the strategy of the positioning of your client,
right.
And then also come up with sort of experiments to find the right tactics to work with that strategy.
Okay. Considering that Western is graduating some of the best minds in marketing, what advice, I know you already kind of touched on this, do you give them during their studies to help them attain gainful employment? So you already talked about, you give them coursework that it gives them skill sets.
Skill sets that's public. That's right. The big thing is that I don't want to just have them learn something and then just have it just go in my grade book. Right. I want them to learn stuff that they're then able to then market themselves with.
Awesome. So I guess maybe a better question to ask is if you're going to a job interview and you have candidate A, candidate B with the same credentials. They have the same, maybe both your students, 2 of your students going for the same job. What would you tell them? How do you kind of stand out?
Well, I always think that in those situations, I think that people genuinely like people that ask them questions. And so I think that in that particular situation, I think that the person that is talking more about the firm that they're interviewing for and what they can do for the firm, but really about sort of showing that understanding of what the firm does is really important. But to show that you're willing to become an expert on this firm, that's what you really need to do. You need to show a potential client, a potential employer, that you are willing to become an expert in that particular thing. Get used to having a terrible job.
Right.
Get used to people being disappointed in you. Being a marketer is about continually educating yourself. So I really think that it's very important as a marketer to always be learning.
Right.
And to be comfortable not knowing something and then being comfortable in learning those things you don't know.
Awesome. Considering that there is now constant changes in digital marketing and kind of it's not the same every day. How are you staying up to date? Are you reading every day, like you said?
Yeah, no, I try to. I mean, I think the most important thing for me is to, like, I have this amazing group of alumni, and that they, and I reach out to them, and every once in a while I'll do a survey, and I'll be like, here's the syllabus from this quarter, or what am I missing? And I had a student a couple years ago who just was like, you know what, Mark, you do a great job in talking about PPC, but everything we do now is paid social.
Okay, any insight into new platforms that people are using?
New platforms, I think that, what do I see a lot? I mean, I think paid social is really important. I think that understanding the ability to sort of create, to really target people in a way that is very effective is really important. In terms of sort of new platforms, I mean, I think video is really big. Right, and I think that that doing that is a really good investment, particularly things that can be that are sort of more informational than promotional. Just wherever your customers are, choose it.
Right.
And that's the great thing about Google Analytics, is that you can really sort of see, okay, our traffic is coming from Snapchat, so let's focus on Snapchat. Or our traffic is coming from Google, so let's focus on organic search and things like that. Or check it out, our emails are really good. That's something I always tell the students. Email marketing actually is really valuable. The value of an email address, like there have been lots of studies about how the dollar value of an email address is so much greater than a like or a follow or something like that.
Well, isn't kind of email marketing a specialist kind of type of marketing as well?
It's really important. A good email marketer is really valuable. And the nice thing is, there are these software platforms like Constant Contact, MailChimp, right. That do really good work for businesses. Yeah. And so, the nice thing about this is that they'll help you segment your list. They'll help you, I love the A/B testing capabilities. What's the biggest social platform? And everyone's going to say Facebook, and then I'll say no.
Google.
No, it's email. Because there's like way more email addresses and way more people with email than there is. One data point that I find it's really interesting is I'm doing more email stuff promoting the marketing program, the MBA program at Western, is there's this stat that I've read, and it does seem to sort of pair out with us, is that there's about a 25% churn rate on an email list every year. And I think that's really interesting, because it definitely seems like every time we do an email, 25% of them bounce back.
Yeah.
And then you change it, and then the next year, 25% others have bounce back as well. But I think that just don't worry about the new platform. Worry about the platform that your customers are on.
Do you think there's a ceiling for future marketers?
No, I think that marketing is becoming more important,
right?
And I think that, and it's not because, and it's just because marketing is becoming more important because our customers and our potential customers are expecting more from our marketing,
right?
And so they're not just looking to sort of know who you are. They want to know who you are, why you do what you do, how you do what you do, when you do what you do. They want to know, customers are looking for transparency.
Right.
And so, and that transparency, is, that window into the firm is the marketing window. And so, because marketing had traditionally always been sort of a one-way conversation, and now that it's much more a two-way conversation, or it's a multi-way conversation. I think that is the thing that, as marketers, we need to understand, is that so it really is becoming more and more important because of the expectations of the customers.
Right. Okay. So definitely not a ceiling, but way more kind of challenges and kind of.
Yeah. No. It's getting harder,
sure.
But our tools are making it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. With everything you just described, if you could paint your ideal environment for a marketer to work in, what would that ideal environment be?
I would say that an ideal environment for a digital marketer would be to work with a diverse group of people with diverse perspectives and diverse backgrounds who are, we talk about in digital marketing, a T-shaped marketer. You familiar with that phrase?
No.
So a T-shaped marketer is someone that understands the importance and the value of inbound and content and SEO and PPC and all the different tools that are there, but focuses on one. So like they've got that broad range of understanding, but they're deep in one.
Right.
And so a diverse group of T-shaped marketers is really important. And then also a group of data-driven marketers, marketers that are comfortable with the Google Analytics data, comfortable with the Salesforce data, comfortable with all the CRM data, and then actionable people who aren't afraid to fail.
Okay.
That's what I think that would be sort of the best group of people to work with.
Okay, great. Guys, first, Dr. Mark Staton, thank you so much for coming on to our show today and giving our audience and all potential students so much valuable information on the future of marketing. I know you want to give them a little bit more information on Bellingham.
Sure.
I actually don't know much about Bellingham, so if you could kind of explain a little bit, and then we could probably play your video.
Sure. Okay.
This.
So Western Washington University is a fantastic public university in Bellingham, Washington. So Bellingham is a place. It's on the west. It's on the ocean, north of Seattle, south of Vancouver, BC. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. And so it's approximately 15,000, it's a little over 16,000 students, a little under 16,000 students. It's about 95% undergraduate. We've got 7 undergraduate colleges. Students can study lots of different things. I'm in the College of Business and Economics. You could concentrate in marketing, you can concentrate in accounting, concentrate in finance, concentrate in operations. I think something that would be particularly appealing to students from Vietnam is we have what I think is considered the top manufacturing and supply chain management undergraduate program in the United States. I've noticed a little bit, there seems to be a bit of a manufacturing industry here in Vietnam.
Might be a new tiger, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that they can do that, they can study that, they can study the undergrad, the liberal arts, they can study social sciences, they can study performing arts, they can study, we have an excellent STEM program at School of Science and Engineering with computer science, cybersecurity. We have a vehicle design program that's fantastic. We have an electrical engineering program that's fantastic. We've got a college of education, so if people want to become teachers, they can do that. We also, I'm very proud of our MBA program. And so our MBA program is, there's a couple things that make our MBA program really good. Is that first off, we create both generalists and specialists. So if there's a student from Vietnam that wants to just get sort of a general MBA and then come back and manage the family business, we can train those people. So like the 14-month MBA, they can get something really quick. But really excellent quality. Mm-hmm. And then also we, as opposed to some business schools which just require a student to have work experience between undergraduate and their MBA, we'll work with early career potential students. So if someone finishes their undergraduate and is like, you know what, the opportunity cost for me to get an MBA is much better now than in a few years. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to do it. We'll work with those students. And then again, what's great is that because we're so close to Seattle, Washington, our students have been hired by Microsoft and Amazon and Boeing and corporate Starbucks, and so all these sort of multinationals that people are familiar with, our students have been hired by those firms. And beyond that, it's just a beautiful place. You'll watch this video or link to the video on YouTube called Above Bellingham. We have this beautiful mountain, Mount Baker, where students in the winter love to go up and ski and snowboard. And I live about 4 blocks from the Pacific Ocean. And it's an hour's drive to Mount Baker. And so, and I walk to campus. I actually walk through some woods to get to campus, so it's just a naturally beautiful place. It's very peaceful, and you know, if people like outdoor recreation, they can do that. So I mean, it's a really, really special place, and I'm really proud of it.
Well, we definitely want to visit.
Go for it. No, really, it's really great, and you know, I think that we're very welcoming.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And hope we can see you again sometime.
That would be great.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.